Welcome back. Hope you're enjoying your holiday season. We're already in January. I'm going to talk about the Behringer Studio XL. This is my review of the product, and first we're going to tell you about its features and talk about why I used it in the second part of the video. So this is the Behringer Studio XL. Long story short, it's a big knob. You got your main volume control, and this is a good thing to have in front of you. And also you can select different monitor mixes right here. So over here you got your mix A, mix B, mix C. You can toggle or turn off all of them in any combination you want at the same time. My current configuration is like my mains on mix A, my sub on mix B, and I'm going to put some more near fields on C in the near future. Over here we have the input sections right here. So we got definitely the microphone right there, top box with signal based on these two outputs right there. You got inputs 3 and 4, 5 and 6, which are stereo paired inputs. Gains, the inputs 1 and 2 are here. You got stereo. You have phantom power that you can play on this. You can actually use this as an audio interface for your studio recording, but I already have an Apollo audio interface. And so I tied the output of that into here so that I can hear it from headphones if I want to, or hear it in my mains while having just one knob to go to instead of worrying about the volume sliders on YouTube videos or on media players. I'll leave everything turned up and I go to one place to turn one nice knob on and open. Now the knob itself definitely feels very solid. There's not a lot of give in it, but you do feel like the detents in it. You can feel that. Obviously you can't convey that over the internet, but you do feel the detents in that. We also have Q sources right here, so there is also a Q bus on here as well. You select different sources there by this knob there. Good detents on there. Actually a good feeling. Doesn't feel very toyish to me. You got your direct monitoring inputs in case you want to hear the input or the Q. You can blend between that. And also there's a detent right there for a happy mix in between the two. Over in the phone section, you have two different volume selects that turn it up or turn it down depending on your tastes and need. And you also can select, do you want the source to be 2 tracks or whatever else that you want right there. When I leave it off, it definitely listens to these and puts it straight through. When I hit Q, it's definitely listening to another mix right there. Moving over back to the right, you can change your mixes to mono for mixing purposes. You can cut it right there. You can blend it, get a mono image to work on your mixes, or you can dim it down to have a conversation with someone in the room. One of my pet peeves is trying to yell over loud music when someone's asking me a question in the studio. I'd rather turn it down, let's talk in here saying, huh, what? You know, all that stuff. I'm not a fan of that at all. And over here we have our talkback volume right there. USB is indicating that we have USB connectivity. The interesting thing about this device is that I was able to plug it right in and it recognized that I didn't really install any drivers for this, which is very convenient for me. Other products I do have to navigate, but I have a lot of projects from Behringer now. Behringer really has some cool stuff. We got a stereo aux in right there. If you want to use that, that's input. So I guess it normals out to this one right here. This is input 5 and 6 right there. 2 headphones out there. Only thing I don't like is them being on front. So in this configuration, if I want to hook up a headphone jack, I got to go over my equipment or MPC. This wouldn't be an inconvenience for someone else, but for me, having it out is sort of a issue. So if I wanted to go more clean, I would have to take the headphone output out the back and then route it to maybe a headphone amp right there. But I appreciate them including this, because what if you don't have the convenience of hooking up extra gear, wires, and things of that nature? It's definitely not going to be something that's going to ruin your day. So why did I get this? So I've been sort of kind of just making things work with what I have. Like I had some stereo monitors and a sub. I had a JBL rig, the 308, so that's like their JBL 8-inch studio monitor paired with the JBL 10 subwoofer. And I've done a lot of good work with it. And the way I had it hooked up was I had the output coming out of my audio interface into the subwoofer and then taking the subwoofer through out to the mains. Now, other subwoofers have an on-off switch while still passing audio through. In this scenario, didn't. I just rolled with it. And I also had a pair of CLA 10s, but I didn't really have a way to send it out to those separate monitors separately without doing a lot of stuff. I didn't have a proper way to do that. I didn't have one of these. So, you know, with my monitor game being sort of updated a little bit, I needed a tool that's going to enable me to get sound to them conveniently, also mute the speakers if I need to, and sort of kind of keep everything in one a lot of functions in the hands reach without reaching out to the side over there or reaching over there. I can just reach out there. And it's been a very great addition. Very simple, inexpensive. Like the cost of this unit was actually pretty inexpensive versus the Mackie counterpart. I know that Behringer sort of does a lot of equipment that's like what you normally see from like Mackie and other manufacturers, but the Mackie Big Knob Studio is north of $300, and and I understand that, and that's cool. But the Behringer Big Knob was about $169, so you're getting a lot of bang for buck, and actually this one, in my opinion, looks a little nicer. I like that silver chrome trim. It's a little nicer to me, and you're getting more bang for your buck. Inflation is a thing, and I think it's going to serve me pretty well. I think if I look at the Mackie Big Knob Studio, I think almost button for button, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, and at the consumer level, I definitely needed a big knob. And oh yeah, I didn't talk about this over here, the trim. So if something's a little too hot, like the balance between your subwoofers and your mains is a tricky process. Like it took me a while to run back behind the monitor, set the volume, come back, set the mains to get that good balance of sub where you can hear the subs at a good level that feels good, but at the same time translates into a good mix into a car or wherever you go. So it's very important to have that control. This is really cool. I wish there was more range here, but what happens is as I listen to songs, I'm sort of kind of defaulting and getting to know where everything is setting in the mix, so that way I can just leave it there. So then if I want subs, I hit a button. If I don't want subs, I hit a button. Like I said, I got my mains there. Oh, that's coming through right there. And it's pretty cool. Like even if I'm doing videos and I want to cut the audio to my mains, what I used to have to do is reach over to my mouse and turn off the mixer on my Apollo interface, and that was so I don't have feedback and all that stuff. But here it's just a button. Turn everything off. You don't want any monitors on? Cool. But at the same time though, because I have a separate audio interface taking care of my inputs with its own processing, I'm able to come in and record great audio. So this is a great inexpensive tool. If you have more than one set of monitors that you use, this is a great tool to have, and it also gives you a little bit of convenience. You can see I got fingerprints on there. That's apparent that the oil from your fingers will mark this up. Not going to be a deal breaker for me, and it's just a really cool way of, look at that. It's just a really cool way of, and of course, who doesn't like, what engineer or producer doesn't like lights? Come on. Nice lights right there. I'm trying to think what else did I miss. Also, USB right here. You can turn on and turn off the USB output there. So if you got Windows, you're listening to YouTube videos or music, you can listen to this right here, turn that on, turn it off, and it's going to be sent to your monitors very conveniently. You actually do get audio reading. So this is my audio interface I track off of right here on 3 and 4. And then if I want to listen to computer audio, I can tell Windows to output to this audio interface, and it'll come out here. If I want it off, I can turn that off. It goes out to all the outputs and things of that nature. It's definitely a convenience feature. It was needed. If I wanted to sort of kind of move just a slight bit more efficiently between my mixes and all that stuff, it was a great tool to integrate. So very excited about that. All right, so that's my review of the Behringer Studio XL monitor control unit. I don't really have much to say about that, but it's really cool. I'm very pleased with it, and definitely going to be a big part of my studio setup for years to come. All right, and I hope this helps you make a choice on it. If you like this type of content, watch Daily OT2K YouTube channel, subscribe or comment, and let me know what you think. If you made it this far, stay tuned for more. We out.